Welcome to another episode of Amanda Got an Email, asked very few questions, and then said yes again. That's it. That's my intro. Hi, I'm Amanda. You're watching Swell Entertainment. Today we were talking about how I became a VTuber, so you don't have to. For those of you who don't know, because I don't really say it so much anymore, but all of my product reviews, media reviews, and especially my event reviews are all part of a series called I Tried It So You Don't Have To. And it basically stemmed from me being a big sister and seeing all these products getting recommended to these young audiences and being like, what is happening? And that's how the I Tried It So You Don't Have To series was born. Now, I don't say it so much anymore because let's face it, it's kind of a long title. But I always really wanted to have it grow into something different where I actually try different things, different jobs, different random experiences, and do full reviews on them so that you know what it's like. Whether it's something that a lot of people don't have the ability to do, but I do because I'm a content creator and I just am able to be like, hello, I make video, you get advertising, let me come in. Or in circumstances where the thing that I'm looking into costs money and people want to do it, but they want to make sure that they're getting their money's worth or that it's worth it for them or that this is the right choice for them and they want to be educated in their consumer choices. And so I know that's a very long-winded way to tell you that I became a VTuber for a day, but that's basically why I thought this would be a very cool idea to do. But first, let me tell you about the sponsor for today's video, Kitsch. Kitsch is a female-owned global accessory brand making high-quality accessories at an affordable price point. Their goal is to make everyday beauty and wellness products that turn your daily routine into something special. And they send me their rice water protein shampoo and conditioner bars to tell you about. Some of you may not know this, but I am actually naturally blonde. Shocker, I know. But I've been dyeing my hair with box dye at home for years. It's important to me to take good care of my hair, and so I'm constantly looking for products to help repair any damage. Kitsch's solid bars are formulated with rice water to help repair damaged hair follicles and prevent split ends. The bars cleanse and condition your hair and scalp to encourage overall hair length and density. And their solid form is designed to reduce the use of single-use plastic, so you are helping your hair and the environment. And the rice water protein bars are free of phthalates, parabens, silicones, and sulfates. You can go ahead and click the link in my description box, or you can use code Swell Entertainment to get 25% off your first order with Kitsch. Kitsch ships in the US and internationally to over 27 countries. And if you are looking for an even better discount, they have a subscription available. Thank you to Kitsch for sponsoring this video. So back in October, I got an email from Cal at Oshilive. Hello, Amanda. We're a company that offers technical services to VTubers, and we loved the videos you've done about VTuber events, production, Quiet Concert, Anime Impulse. If you're interested, we recently opened a VTuber motion capture studio in LA where you can come and try out what it's like to be a VTuber for a day. We can answer any VTubing mocap questions you have, including the financials and startup costs related to VTubing. We can provide an avatar for you to use, and you can stream directly to your Twitch channel. Please let us know if this is something you'd be interested in. We'd love to have you. Thanks, Cal. They emailed me at 8:38 p.m. I responded at 8:41. I didn't realize it was that quick. Hello. Oh my gosh, that sounds awesome. I would love to. I would be able to film everything as well, right? Which they had basically already said, but that's the important part. Because I'll tell you about something. And there have been times where people are like, oh, we want to show you this, but like you can't film, that type of thing. But I am a storyteller. So I will remember things and I will tell you. Yes, it's totally fine to film as long as our studio's outside location is hidden, of course. In addition to a date that works for you, do you have any requests regarding how your VTuber might look? And I said, hi, Cal. I'm pretty open to how the model looks, but I would like to keep my brown hair and glasses if at all possible. That is next to no information for a VTuber model, okay? This is a fictitious model of myself that I probably could have been like, you know what? Cat ears. I could go like Reina, okay? Reina, my friend in production Kawaii, okay? And I could have been like, you know what? Make me a demon, like Reina. But instead I was just like, brown hair, glasses. Let's keep the branding accurate. I also want to make it abundantly clear. I did not pay, they did not pay me. I should probably explain, did I skip over what VTubers are? This is my job. A VTuber is a virtual creator, essentially. Typically Twitch streamers, but they can also be, content creators for YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, but typically it's streamers. There's a variety of reasons of why someone may want to be a VTuber. There are some instances where people want to, just kind of protect their identity. There are instances, I have a friend who's getting into it and she wants to do it because the barrier to entry for herself that she finds as a female content creator is the time it takes to get ready to film and all of that. And if she has a model that's set up, she can just hop online and not worry about making sure her hair is done or her makeup is done and things like that. There are some VTubers who have very bad social anxiety and the thought of being perceived is very stressful to them. There are VTubers that have disabilities and that they don't want their disabilities on display for whatever reason. That's up to them. There's a variety of reasons of why someone might be a VTuber. There are also VTubers that are very public about the fact that they are VTubers. Like online, they're their digital themselves, but they'll go to events and make it very clear that they are themselves. The reason that they reached out to me was my review of Production Kawaii. I went to a VTuber concert around the same time as Anime Expo. That video is up if you want to go check that out. And I met two of the performers, the girls, backstage. I met Reina and Nami backstage. They wanted to meet me. It was very nice. They were wonderful after their show. That was kind of a big deal that I met them. I made a bit of a joke about it in the video and I was like, I met your waifus. But they did also include in this, which I think I can share this one part of the image. I'm going to screenshot it now. So I'm not even sending William this full screenshot of everything just to be safe. Not that I don't trust William, but still. William already has a blackmail folder of me. I'm not worried about him having a blackmail folder for Oshilive. The blackmail folder is probably just me coughing, me being unable to read, me saying things 6 different ways, and me being unable to pronounce various words, and probably yelling at Hermes. That's probably the blackmail folder. That's what I expect. But anyways, Oshilive mocap studio directions, but also what to wear before you go. Basically, what they give you, and you'll see it in the footage, the mocap suit that they give you is basically like sad velvet Christmas pajamas that your parents would get you from Costco when you were a kid. I kind of feel like how I assume like the Marvel guys feel currently.
Yeah, I mean,
like
it's the same tech.
With the nanotech that they've been doing with like all of their different, instead of doing like actual suits, they've been doing like the mocap suits.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally the same thing, so that makes sense.
It's kind of like long underwear in a sense with how snug it all is. It's not like workout clothes where you're like, okay, this kind of makes sense. It's meant to be form-fitting and not have really any wrinkles in it. It's meant to be as tight as possible. I got to Oshilive and they were wonderful. So I had also messaged myself my stream key for Twitch because I wasn't sure about going live from their studio because I have the technical ability of a geriatric grandmother. I know I'm a content creator and there's a lot that I figured out and there's a lot that I can figure out. But as far as streaming goes, I'm pretty inept. I was a passenger princess for the setup of my Twitch, okay? They were like, can we set up your OBS for you? And I said, heck yeah. They're like, cool, can you give me your remote access? I said, absolutely. And I sat there and watched while the wonderful person from Twitch just sat there and helped me set up my OBS. It was wonderful, okay? That's what I prefer. Like, I will figure it out. I have the ability to, but if I don't have to, I don't want to, okay? I had my stream key with me just in case, but I was like not sure what technically I would be able to do from their studio. And like I made very clear, I asked very few questions going into this. So I was like, cool, I'm gonna wear the proper thing. I'm gonna show up on time and I'm gonna have my stream key. That's all I'm bringing. Let's see how this goes. So got inside and they were like, oh yeah, here's how this is gonna work. They had a bathroom that was there and they had basically a rack of all of the different sizes. And now for bottoms, I'm typically a medium. However, I thought, and I was a little later confirmed this, that basically all mocap equipment is basically fitted mainly for men. So like for pants, for a medium, it would be like a men's medium essentially. So I just got the small, which ended up working out fine. It was snug, but that was kind of the point. But I was also wearing it over my pants as it was. But also a lot of these things are very tight. So like it wasn't really built for boobs. Thankfully, I don't have much, but like everything's really snug basically because it's not designed for curves, I guess. Let's just go with that. That's inclusive. And so I just put that on over my clothes and they said, okay, yeah, make sure you pull your hair up and all this stuff because the cap was gonna go over my head.
Yeah, it's got like a baseball cap opening in the back here.
Oh, okay. So like...
Yes.
Yep, like that?
Yep,
okay.
Exactly like that. Yep. It looks so goofy.
I can't wait. This is fantastic. It was probably the silliest I've ever looked for a video. I've looked sillier in other contexts. Me making a golden Furby dress that may have triggered the events of 2020 just based on its sheer existence, okay? That was New Year's Eve 2019. It either manifested my YouTube career, because that happened 2 months later, or it triggered COVID. We don't know. So I have looked crazier, but I don't think for a video I have looked crazier than this. It was very silly. So basically the studio, when you walk in and it's the studio's space and it's all mapped out of like, okay, here are like the markers for your space, for your VTuber space essentially. And they had my VTuber model on the screen as well as I walked in. And there's 2 big screens. You've got the live stream setup mainly, and then the gaming screen setup as well.
We don't have like a state-of-the-art motion capture, optical motion capture system, but it's about 30, 40K.
Yeah. How many cameras are in here currently?
About 30. I think there's 28. If you're like a high-end VTuber doing it from home, you get what's called an accent suit, which is about $10,000. But it has a lot of like what's like drift. So after a while, like you'll start to contort if you don't recalibrate yourself. And then also it's only just a single person, so you can't do any like props or anything. But the way our motion capture system works, because it's optical, first of all, there's no drift because it's just seeing what you're doing. And then it can track props and stuff.
So it's basically the equivalent of like a 3D camera setup, but spread out to the entirety of a studio versus in those orbs that they occasionally use for a 3D or 360 camera rig, I guess you could say. Walking into that, I was like, oh, this is like a little bit Black Mirror. There was like that kind of feeling in the back of my head constantly of like being watched, even though I know the cameras weren't on at the time. Well, they were on, but like they weren't tracking me. They're tracking the sensors. So it's like this weird kind of thing where I'm like, logic is winning out, but also I'm like, ugh, I don't like this, you know? And it's like just a weird thing for me mentally to like overthink things. So I don't know how this would work with someone that has even more severe anxiety than I do. But it was definitely a very odd feeling.
So the way this works is we put these dots all over you in like certain positions, and then the cameras see the dots because they're reflective.
They told me that you don't really need to calibrate it the same way that you would with like an at-home mocap rig, the way that a lot of streamers do, because sometimes if you don't calibrate it pretty regularly, then suddenly your arm is contortioning behind your head and things like that. This being like a real-time type of like capturing everything in one go kind of keeps it from tweaking out. They asked me to go stand in the middle of the room. There was kind of like a little box marked out, but it wasn't really like an X or anything. It was just like, this is kind of like the center of the room. So here's my model.
Hello.
Basically, this is a Franken model because I gave them next to no information, mainly because I wanted to see what they would come up with if I just gave them full control. And I did not ask for jiggle physics, but there was a slight jiggle physics, okay? I did like that they gave me probably D cups, G cups. What are these? I don't know. I don't have this. Okay. They also gave me a dump truck, which I also don't fully have that size of a dump truck, but
So I've been told that this is an amalgamation of a few other model mock-up parts, yes, for other people's VR chats and such. So I am a hodgepodge of other VTuber models.
the outfit is kind of for me, that type of thing, but like that's really it. And so I like that they gave me a green sweater and that they gave me, instead of cat ears or anything, they put my 8-bit glasses on my forehead, which is what's in my profile picture on most of my social media. So I thought that was really fun because I didn't ask for that. That was just kind of a fun little thing that they did, which I liked. And yeah, then they were like, okay, yeah, if you have your stream key. So I like emailed them my stream key and we went live. The thing is that we could not log into my Twitch account from their system, mainly because I forgot. And so they just went live with my previous streams info. So my last Twitch stream prior to this was the night before, and I had been building this Lego McLaren set. The stream said, building the Lego McLaren set. Get in here, we're building Legos was the message that went to followers and subscribers. And so they came in expecting to see me building this Lego set. And instead, they got Anime Amanda. And Amanda.
This is not building the Lego McLaren set. I know that was yesterday.
It's kind of on brand when you think about it. Like I did it, I'm doing the thing, but also I'm going to jump scare you with this information, basically. We talked for a good like 20 minutes, and then we did the first actual live stream gaming of Swell Entertainment on Twitch, because I don't game on Twitch. And we did a few different rounds of Just Dance. That game is harder than I remember it being when I was a teenager.
Can't do that with my legs.
I killed it at Bring Me to Life, okay? I killed it. A couple of things to note while in VTuber form. It was kind of jarring is not the word, just like off-putting, but also not. I don't know. I think if it weren't for the fact that I am a first person YouTuber is what they classify it as, a first person creator. I'm the person you see. I am sitting here talking to a camera. This is classified as first person, okay? For the Streamy Awards, this is what that would be classified as. First person. I can fall under commentary and a bunch of other things, but like first person is how this setup is, okay? It's me talking to a camera, okay? There's no one else here. I might go and film events, but like for the most part, I'm a first person YouTuber. So even though I have an editor, I do a chunk of editing myself at the end before you actually see the video. And so I'm very aware of how I appear on camera. Even right now, I have the viewfinder on to make sure that everything is in frame, that I am not moving around too much, that my hair probably looks a mess actually, because I can't fully see it from there, that the glare from my glasses is hitting, things like that. So I'm very conscious of how I behave and talk and how it appears on the recording. So I think this is why that was more jarring for me in the VTuber format, because to see this thing mimicking me pretty closely, but also the mouth is not quite matching up. The facial expressions are not matching up and the movements are matching up, but I know that's not what I look like, was very jarring in a sense and almost very uncanny valley, but not in the same way. There's like this weird thing with uncanny valley, I think, where it almost feels like a threat when you see something that you know is not quite human. But for yourself, it's not a threat. It just feels off. I don't know. It's probably a good thing I have a good hold of reality and I don't deal with issues of that, because I feel like if I did have an issue with that, then that would be really jarring for me. I don't know. That's a therapy question. I don't know why I'm telling you guys, but I wanted to explain why I was like, because on chat I was explaining like, yeah, it feels kind of like uncanny valley. It feels a little weird because it kind of looks like me, but it's definitely not me. I'm definitely not like an anime style character. I'm just... Hi.
Also, I've been told that the studio space that I am in, that you can't fully see, is actually larger than this studio living space that you guys are seeing. So there is a possibility that I can walk into something. Yeah, like that.
A couple of things. My hands kept kind of glitching out a little bit. There'd be times where I would clap and my hands kind of wouldn't touch properly, so it kind of kept looking like I was going like this for my figure. I kept doing little kawaii uwu movements because I thought it was funny, and chat would lose their minds when I would say uwu and they'd be like, that's a little too natural, because I'd be like uwu. Chat later, okay, the next day, because I went live the following day as well to be like, hey guys, let's talk about what happened. Let's actually build the Lego McLaren set. They were like, yeah, it was kind of weird because like I was laughing a lot because it was kind of like a ridiculous feeling to like dance, but you're not seeing me dance. So it kind of was nice because you couldn't see how bad I was, but like you could kind of see me trying. So honestly, this was like probably the best case scenario for me playing Just Dance on live, so that you couldn't actually see what I was doing and how badly I was messing up. People were commenting like, yeah, you have a very distinctive face when you're giggling or laughing. And so to hear you laughing, but like it's not doing the face, but your mouth is moving on the character was like really off-putting for the viewer is what I heard.
Oh no, I Velcroed myself to this. Hold on. There we go. Yeah. Okay. No more Just Dance because I'm going to pass out.
I was definitely having fun. It did get hot in that suit. Obviously, I was wearing pants and a long sleeve shirt underneath the mocap equipment. Like I said, it was like sad velvet is kind of the way it was, but they were very nice and they gave me water. They had snacks and stuff there as well, which was great. And yeah, they were just telling me it's like, yeah, I think more people would do this, but obviously it takes a lot of setup because obviously the process, I don't know how long quite it took, like obviously getting changed. I'm sure once you get familiar with the process, like it's much quicker, but obviously they were walking me through things. But getting changed, getting the pants on and all of that. The pants are kind of like stirrup, so they're like the leotard pants almost that like go over your under your foot so that it's tucked in tight basically, and then you put your shoes on over that bit in your shoe, which is why my high tops were kind of a problem, because then when we were putting on the sticky dots, they're supposed to be the sticky dot right on my ankle, but obviously because of my high tops, that wouldn't go on my ankle. So it ended up being slightly lower than my ankle on the shoe covers that they gave me, but it wasn't that big of a deal. I still had pretty good articulation of my feet on the actual model itself. Another thing I would do differently, I probably would wear workout shorts, spandex shorts probably, and probably just a shorter sleeve top now that I know just how hot it gets in there. And they had the AC blasting the entire time, but especially if you're doing a high activity thing like Just Dance or anything like that, obviously that's gonna work up a sweat and you're in multiple layers. So hand movements as well, it's like one glove and then they put the articulation over the glove and then they put the sensors all clipped in in together.
So now we like slide the actual sensors into these little like holsters.
Oh, okay.
These gloves by themselves are $6,000.
Oh gosh, and you just put them on my hand.
Obviously, to rent a full studio space for an hour for something is not cheap, but if you wanted to kind of do like something fun or take your kind of VTuber setup to the next level, I think this is a really great option, especially because doing this at home with this level of articulation is super expensive. They explained that the camera setup alone is probably about $30,000 in camera-ish. Obviously, the setup at home is something that you can do one by one. The suit also, they told me, is the cheapest part. It's like maybe $200-ish for the suit itself. But obviously the setup and all of that, and having someone else there to help, you know, make sure the sensors are all set up, make sure everything's framed properly and all of that. That also is another time and cost consumption. So working with the studio is the most cost-effective option, especially when getting started, especially if you're not super sure what you really want to do as far as VTubing goes. So Oshilive wanted me to let you guys know that they have a holiday concert coming up around the same time as Christmas, close to then. I believe the 24th is what they told me. I'm blanking. I'm sorry. I'm horrible. I'm trying to find it on your socials and I can't find it. Okay. I'm assuming that if you follow them on Twitter, that eventually they will let you know when that's coming up. And that's apparently going to be 4 separate VTubers doing a little concert with them. I think that's going to be super cool. So you guys should go check that out. You also probably have seen Oshilive at a couple of different events because they help VTubers go to events using the tripods on the little movable scooters that you guys may have seen at certain conventions, and I'm sure you've seen at some of my conventions and certain videos here and there. That's another thing that Oshilive does as well. Check out Oshilive if you have any VTuber needs that you need and you're in the LA area, or not in the LA area and you want to go to an event and you are a VTuber. Oshilive I think would be a great opportunity to check out. Thank you again to Oshilive for inviting me and letting me invade your studio space to be a menace for an hour and a half. I will say it was also a little weird to be able, because I do so much of my work from home alone with only my dog to judge me from the corner. Same with my live streams. And it's one thing to like know that there's people watching on live streams. It's another thing to know that there are 2 people in the room like helping run the thing and taking video clips for my channel, which thank you for that. Like it's kind of like a weird thing where I was like very hyper aware of that, but like it wasn't a big deal because like I've done studio work before for other videos and other events and things like that. So like wasn't too weird. Like I don't think I was very different on camera than I would be like this, but it's just kind of like a weird thing in the back of my head of like, oh yeah, that's right. There's people watching me that are hearing me refer to my VTuber model as having a dump truck regularly. Have you ever been a VTuber? Have you ever wanted to be a VTuber? Is this the first time you're hearing about VTubers? Have you heard about Oshilive? Let me know. Comment down below. Reminder of a podcast, the Swell Shenanigans podcast. Reminder that Swell Entertainment is now available on Spotify. Reminder that I have merch. Shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for supporting me on Patreon. If you also support me on Patreon, list it down below. Like to follow me on social media. That'll be all up here. And that's going to be How of the Day. Ooh, woo. Goodbye. I might not always look cool, but I have a pretty cool job.
Abby, Adira, Amy, Andrew, Angel, Aslan, Cameron, Corey, Donnie, Elliot, Glenn, Goth, Jasmine, Kenny, Lauren, Literal, Madeline, May West, Medic, Micah, Michael, Nathan, Palace, Pink, Qwerty, Rachel, Randy, Robert, Rosie, Ryan, Sam, Skylar, Tasha, Tenzin, Thomas, Heavenly, Victor, Winter, Zwink.